What we, the Arcturians, are working with the awakened and awakened humans is that what you do is a version of what you think. And so once you allow a thought to come into your mind, you might want to take a moment and say, do I want this thought to occur? And if it's yes, then it's, yeah, okay, cool. And then you feed it and you think about it and you love it and maybe share it with some friends, and it's a good experience. But if it's a negative something, it's like, no, I don't want to feed that. I don't want to feed that. You have to stay out of the fear. And to stay out of the fear, we have to write some kind of a happy ending. If we just let that possible grow, it could become a probable. We can say, yes, this probably is going to end up in a wonderful way. The darkest night is just before dawn. We all know that. You know, we've all had lives. We've all lived on planet Earth. And it's the darkest night that comes in because humanity has this habit of waiting until it's in Technicolor. And then they want to take care of it. They want to just ignore it until then. So what would you have to say about that?
Well, these are some eye-opening perspectives right out of the gate. And I've got to say, for me personally, I'm already thinking about how my perspectives just changed from that, of going from the possible to the probable.
Yeah.
There was something about that really just stuck out to me. And this brings me to a question to the Arcturians, in that when we are focusing on the probable and we are focusing on creating a beneficial, a joyful change in our lives, how do we go about manifesting that without having to worry about it in our minds of, is it going to come true, the how, the when, those specifics?
First off, with the Arcturians say, is you don't worry about it in your mind. Because thoughts are thoughts and they're in your brain, but it's only part of it until it has an emotion that it blends with. And that gives it a bigger life. And so if we have a thought about, oh, what am I going to do? And our emotions are, I don't know, but I think I got to meditate, and I usually find out that way, then that's probably what will happen. But if we have that thought and we start to worry, oh, I'm so worried, oh my heavens, what will I do? Oh no, oh, this is terrible. Then where is that going to take you? We, the Arcturians, we observe that humans really create their life by what they allow themselves to think and what they linger on. And if you linger on a song you hear in your head and you want to sing that song, you want to play that song, you want to share that song will come forward. But if you have a fear and you think about that fear and you feel that fear, then what have you created?
It sounds like, from what I'm understanding from you, the Arcturians, it sounds like that is the key to manifesting something happier, something at a faster frequency rate, if you will, when it's not a battle between our thoughts and our heart, but it's a cohesion.
Yes. Sometimes we forget that we're the boss of our own self. We really do have control. We're choosing whether or not we want to engage in that experience within that now. And let's say we're going into a not too good experience, so we don't really want to engage in that experience, but for whatever reason, we have to engage in that experience. We just have to do that thing. So we could go, oh no, this is terrible, it's awful. Or we could say, okay, well, got a little karma coming up here now because I'm trying to run away from this. So I guess I probably really need to look it in the face and find out exactly what is it about this that's making me want to clinch, that makes me want to look away, makes me not want to do it. Because that's good information. That's my protector self. My protector self is, wait a second. You sure you want to do that? Really? That's really what you want to do? And we might still want to do it, but we'll probably do it different. Do it with an awareness of the emotions, because you've got your emotions and you've got your words. And you could say, oh, hi, Danny, how you doing? It's great to see you today. Or you could say, hi, Danny, how you doing? Oh, yeah, how's your day? Same words, totally different message. What would you like to say about that, Danny?
That ending piece was so important to me, because you can use this as an analogy to your thoughts and your emotions. We have the thoughts, which could represent our words and what we think, but the emotion, the feeling behind them, is what creates the bigger picture. It's what creates the fuller vocabulary of ourselves. And just as the Arcturians were talking about how they can make the choice of if they want to move into certain frequencies just by their thoughts, there's the heart component that comes with that. And they have this knowing that they are the creators of their reality, but they're not afraid of the reality that they will create because they live based in their heart. And that kind of connection is what we as human beings are starting to gradually move into, to where we're not just looking at the thoughts, we're not just looking at the words that we say, but we're looking at the heart that comes behind them.
Yes, when you were saying that, I got an image. When I was a little kid, I always loved colors and I always loved to draw, but I also liked to do coloring books, so I could just do the decorating. They had the picture and I could decorate it, okay? And it would tell me a lot by how I decorated the picture, how I felt about the picture, because it was just a bunch of outlines. It was a bunch of outlines. It didn't have any heart to it. I didn't know what it meant. But when I put the crayons down and I chose that color to put there and that color to put there, and putting those different colors on, then the picture became alive. When I have this array, like I have my colored pencils out or I have crayons out or whatever. In fact, I was doing that yesterday, and one of the things out of nowhere I wrote, it said, "Welcome to my frequency of reality." That's the frequency of reality. Okay, and that's when I got into the colors are so much an experience of a frequency of reality. When we allow ourselves to just go with the frequency a little bit without trying to change it or fix it or understand it, just kind of be in the frequency. So what do you do when you're in a situation and you feel yourself going into a frequency? It's like, no, I don't want to go there. What do you do? How do you put on the brakes?
Patience and honesty. Can you be honest with yourself about the emotions that you are feeling? If you don't want to feel them, or if you do want to feel them, it doesn't matter. They are present, they are there. So get honest in your own self about what you're experiencing. And then from there, do you have the patience to allow change to naturally unfold without you necessarily having to physically work for it or do anything for it? It's about giving yourself enough self-love and enough patience to say, I don't know the exact way around this or the exact other options I can take, but I know that I don't want to be in this experience. I know what I want to feel, and this isn't that. So how can I be more patient with myself as I move into an experience that better fits what I resonate with? And then it will naturally happen. And that just touches back into your frequency.
Yeah, and lots of times my choice is when I get in that confused, constricted space, that's when I'll get out the pencil and the paper and say, "Dear Arcturians, what the heck is going on? Will you help me out here?" And the fact that I'm giving it over to a higher being. Now, have I ever shook hands with an Arcturian? No. Have I actually seen an Arcturian? No. But I have been talking to the Arcturians. I didn't know they were called Arcturians till, I don't know, 40 years ago, 30 years ago. But I always talked to somebody. So all my life, there was always someone I was talking to. I just didn't know what the name was because I was a little kid, so that's the way it was. But that talking doesn't mean anything if it doesn't have listening. That's probably one of the more difficult things for me to have, is patience. So what do you tell people when they come to you and they're like, "I'm confused, I'm scared, what's happening? This is weird." You say, have patience.
It's a good thing when people can recognize when they are confused or when they are scared, because you're not repressing that emotion. And you're also being honest with yourself and saying, "I don't want to experience this." And people that are willing to repress those feelings, deep down inside, they don't want to experience that, but they haven't gotten to the point yet where they can admit it to themselves of, "I'd like to find another alternative or another perspective. I just don't know how." But it starts with being honest with what you're feeling. And so if you can have the patience to know that this is a solution, or this is a new experience or perspective that's going to develop over time, you can't rush it. It's part of the story. It's almost as if you were going to sit down and watch like a really good movie, but the movie's 2 hours. Like, let's just skip an hour and a half in and get to the last half hour. Okay, but you missed everything that led up to that last little section of the movie. Or it would be like planting a seed and waiting for this beautiful flower to grow, but you're like, "I can't wait anymore. Let's just water the seed over and over and over and over again until it drowns." So it's about being patient in the process and recognizing it as just another chapter in your story.
There's higher frequencies, and sometimes something comes into our lives, and well, this is a big example. Nobody's too happy about what's coming into our lives right now. And so we can get really impatient, and all the people being locked down, and have to stay in your house and this and that and the other. Impatience is not just a bad thing. Impatience is just saying, "Hey, you need to do something now because you're not liking it this way." Okay, I'm going to ask the Arcturians to come in. Dear all of you who have chosen to take an earth vessel during this now, this is a very special now. And as you go through this now, most people will be within their third dimensional thought process. But there is a time that's happening right now. There is a higher frequency of reality. And this higher frequency of reality is the reality in which the galactics live. Don't forget us, we are real. Don't forget our dear friends the Palladians, they are real. Don't forget the Nusians, they are real. And don't forget the Arcturians, they are real. You are not alone. Not only are you not alone on this planet, you are not alone in this galaxy. Blessings to you all. Remember that you are much bigger than you ever thought you could ever be.